Hello, and thank you for listening to the Founders Corner. This podcast invites business owners and entrepreneurs to discuss their business challenges and seek advice from our host, Ajay Prasad. Ajay is a serial entrepreneur and owner of two seven-figure web-based businesses, GMR Web Team and GMR Transcription, and the proud creator of the online reputation management software, RepuGen. If you would like to be a guest on our show, or contact AJ personally, please click the link in the episode description. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for listening to the Founders Corner. I'm Ajay Prasad. We have K.B. Lee as our guest today. K.B. is the owner of Ever Bamboo Incorporated, an online and wholesale store for bamboo charcoal deodorizers and dehumidifiers. K.B. is joining us today to ask us for advice on marketing his unique business. How are you today, K.B.?
Oh, I'm doing well. I'm doing
KB?
great. Thanks, AJ. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, KB, tell me a little bit about you and your business so that my audience know what exactly you do.
Yeah. So our company is Ever Bamboo, and we have a brand of natural deodorizers and dehumidifiers, and they are made of bamboo charcoal. So the product comes in different shapes and sizes, and they come in pouches. So they work for places like shoes, gym bag, fridge, closets, bedroom, like just different types of areas where there's odors and musky. And the unique part about the product is that it's all natural, and it's made of bamboo, and they're unscented, so they don't give off a scent. They eliminate odor in terms of masking them. So we've been trying to market this product to the North American market for the past 10 years.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So let's get to your questions. Okay. So let's discuss it. Tell me any issue that I can give you some tips on what to do.
Right. Being the product is in a new product category, so to speak, because it's the bamboo charcoal is not well known to most people.
Correct.
And being a small company and a startup, with very little marketing budget, how do we create the consumer awareness?
Okay, so because you have a small marketing budget, which by the way I think is a plus rather than minus for most of the startups, you are not going to blow it. So the first thing that I would ask you is that you need to have a very clear idea of who your ideal customer is. Okay. So that's the most important thing, is to know who your ideal customer is. And once you know the ideal customer, then you know that where they will congregate, right? So because you have a low marketing budget, you can either do two things, right? Either you geographically limit it if you are trying to go direct to the customers, or if you are doing digital, then you very narrow target the digital, because digital you can reach a much wider geography. So that allows you to reach wider geography, but then very narrow focus on your customer. And by the way, these days most of the platform will let you do that market. These two things are really the first thing. First, I tell every business is you really need to know who is your ideal customer. Okay. And once you know your ideal customer, then you know where you can find them, either on the web or offline, like in the real geography. And once you know that, then things become easy, because you have a really low cost way of testing. So first thing I always say is test it. So you can, with a very small budget, you can test your product to that mark, to your ideal customers. And once they buy your product, things will then you know their feedback. Hopefully, if your product is great, then they are going to then you solicit them to go and talk on the social media about you, on the reviews and everything. Because see, these days, anytime when someone finds out about you, the about your product, the first thing they are going to do is go on the web to find out about the company, about what other people are
Right.
saying. And that's why I always say that once you have ideal customers, you know that they are going to like it, and once they are thrilled, you start to build that base, and eventually it will have a snowball effect. And as you once you even though when you are targeting a very narrow segment of population, on digital marketing you can start with a very narrow geography also, right, just in your
Right.
area, so that if there's any problem, you can find out, or you can contact them. And once you know that everything is working, and your customers are buying your product and they are really happy about it, then you start to open up to a much broader geography. So that will be my suggestion to you, is number one, find your ideal customer, then test your product with the marketing with a very low, I would say very narrow area, so that you are not blowing your budget, you're not spending a lot of
Mhm.
money. And once you know that everything is successful, then you can start planning to scale. And even the scaling, I would do it gradually. So, if you are starting with your city, then you can grow, increase it to your state. And if the state starts working, you can start to go to neighboring state, and ultimately you can make it international. But again, before you start to spend a lot of money, you should know exactly what kind of return you will be getting. So if your budget is, say, you are start with $1,000
Mhm.
a month, by the time you start to think about scaling, you should know that if 1,000 gives me $1,500 in return, and so then you test with 5,000, and if it still gives you 7,500, then you test with
Right.
10,000. So by the time you start to increase your marketing budget, you should really know what kind of return you will be getting.
Right. I see. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah. At the same time, we have been featured in the media because different media companies have approached us,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we it's not like we proactively look for these opportunities because we cannot get on ABC like Good Morning America just because if we want to, right? These are opportunities that have come to us in the past few months. So
Mm-hmm.
we got featured on Good Morning America back in October, and
Okay. That's
I
fantastic.
was told based on the report there were over 4 million viewers that saw
Mm-hmm.
our product, and obviously we would love to do that more often, but once something like that happens, we we are trying to just keep doing what we are doing, and then different companies will approach us at the same time after seeing us. So I guess I know what you mean by the snowball effect,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, it's still hard to get the product in stores at this stage.
Correct.
I don't know. It probably takes some more work on the branding, on the packaging. Um,
Actually, I will tell you that it is more about your customers and customers demanding it. So let me ask you a question. When you were featured on Good Morning America, did you see a spike in sales online?
yes, because they were running a sale. It was part of the deals and steals. So they were
Oh,
running a
okay, okay. So
sale.
that
They
was
they built a microsite to and
okay.
they push the audience to the site. So we got a lot of orders in 2 days.
Okay. Uh, so that's very good. And did you? Did you make
Yes,
profit
we
on that?
did.
Okay, it's fantastic. So again, because you have a product that you are shipping, this is a great thing, because even though they have whatever 4 million, 10 million listeners, uh, the people who came to buy, that should be matching your ideal customer, right? So when you have lots of sales and you have the customer information, now what you can do is do some further
Right,
analysis, okay, with that with that list, and then you can really further narrow target your marketing. uh, there are tools that, for example, when if you have a list of the people and you upload on, I'm just throwing an example, say on
yes,
Facebook
yes,
offers
to
it,
match to match
then
their email address, and then I could kind of mirror a profile based on that. Yes,
correct, and market it. So you see, at the more, every time you have a sale, you want to start to further make that like narrow targeted, because you are a small business, and it is always very tempting, by the way, and I run into many small businesses as my client who will come and say, "Oh, but my product is can be used by everyone." uh, Even if that is true, unfortunately, you should start with a very narrow target, because reaching everyone is very
yes,
difficult. So yes, use that information that you already have, and then since now you know who your ideal customer is and who are buying it, so when you get an offer to do it next time, you just want to make sure that you their audience also is consistent with who is buying your
right,
product. As a business owner, it is very tempting to be featured on TV, but at some point, if it's featured to a wrong audience, essentially you have wasted all your time and energy trying to get
right,
featured there, and it will not give you any benefit out of it. So as you are selling, as you are getting customer list, you should be using that to further making sure that this is exactly the target customer that you are after.
right. I see. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
sure. Do you have any other question?
Um, Not so much. I think I asked three questions um originally, and the second,
Right. So I know that one of the question you asked was about the snail mail customer list, right? Uh, and I will always tell you that, excuse me, that everyone should be building their, a customer list. Someone who has purchased your product, and unfortunately, I don't know if Amazon.com lets you get that information. Who has
yeah,
bought from
I get that
Amazon? Uh,
information, but not the email address. I only get the physical mailing address.
yeah. So there are, by the way, there are many tools that will let you that you can use that information, and it will generate the email
Oh,
address if you want to test the email. So all you have to do is, one of the tool that we have used in the past is called e-grabber,
okay,
and there they if it may make sense, if you want to try the email campaign, which always works, then you can use the e-grabber to you will basically upload the list, and it will go on the web, and it will find the customer I'm sorry, the email address, if it
oh,
can
I
find
see.
it. So you can try that. Snail mail is still, believe it or not, is very effective. My perspective on marketing is that it all depends on return on
Right,
investment, right? So whatever channel you're using, I don't see it as a good channel, a bad channel. I always get asked and say, should I be doing TV advertising or just, for example, digital marketing? And I'm like, both, if you are able to make money from both. So it's just a matter of tracking it very closely when any marketing that you do. And if you are trying snail mail, again, test it. Start with a small
Right.
list and mail it to them and see what kind of result you get. And if you are spending $100 and you are getting back $200 in profit, then you should do it all day. It's just a matter of return on
Right.
investment. So any method that you are doing, the testing is the most important piece in marketing, that I will tell you. And this is the biggest difference between the big company, and I have worked with some of the really massive companies with literally over $100 million in marketing budget
Right.
that I managed, and very small companies that I meet and I talk to on a regular basis. The small companies they don't understand the testings. They will create for example, if they are doing a snail mail, they will do a postcard campaign and they'll just send it to 25,000 people in one shot, and they will like, hey, I lost money. Versus large company will never
Right.
do that. They will test with 1,000, 2,000, whatever, and they will not do a mass launch until they know that what kind of return they will get or they can expect. I every time I launched a marketing campaign, and I've been head of marketing also in corporations before, I had to go and justify to the management and in terms of what kind of return I expect
Right.
from it. So it was never that, okay, let's launch this TV campaign which is going to cost $3 million. It was, I always had to say, okay, this is the campaign and this is the return that I expect and this is why. And so I would have already tested it and made sure that everything is working before I would go and even present that idea. So that's what you want to do. Any marketing is fine. Make sure that you test with a very small budget, and that's why I was telling you that when you are a startup with not a ton of marketing budget, it's a good thing, because I have been in the .com world and I have seen companies blow 50 million, 100 million, even $1 billion in funding just like that, because they will go and blast it on TV and they will spend huge amount of marketing dollars without testing it, making sure that it will bring them
Right.
the return.
Yeah, I agree totally. And I know that's why I know we've been invested more resources in digital marketing in the past year or two, just because we know that everything can be tracked. And when we test something in a small scale, we can track the result very accurately to see if it works or not.
Yeah. I mean, of course, digital is very easy to track, but again, even the traditional marketing, if you plan it right, you should be able to track
Yes.
it. But digital is obviously trackable. Now, one other advice I will give you, by the way,
Yes.
KB, is focus on one channel at a time. Okay, I see too many companies where, oh, I'm also doing direct mail. I'm doing some paid advertising. I'm also doing some retargeted ads and all that. And my thing is that you should only go to the next channel, use it one channel at a time, just maximize the return. Only then you should, once you know that, okay, I have literally saturated this channel, only then you should go to the next one. Again, the small businesses uh, start to follow the large companies because they see that they are on TV and radio and internet and everywhere. They are there because they are not leaving any channel uh, unsaturated. So you just want to make sure that the channels that you're using, you have maximized it before you try something else. So in other words, if your digital marketing is already working, don't even worry about
Right.
snail mail until you know that you have maximized. Now this is the max that you can get from digital marketing, and then of course look for another channel to further increase
Right.
it.
I see. That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Great stuff.
So that's good. KB, if you have any other question, let me know. Otherwise, what we will do is once it is ready, we'll let you know when we have posted
Yeah.
our discussion.
Awesome. Thank you, AJ. This is great.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Founders Corner podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. If you're listening through one of these programs, visit our main page at www.gmrwebteam.com/The Founders Corner.